is the Big O Show. This 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 is...
Where can you drive the new 2025 Acura Integra for only $289 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Where can you drive the new 2025 Acura RDX for only $399 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
It's big. It's gigantic. It's the Toyota of Hollywood Super Sale. Over 2,000 Toyotas from just $17,988. Like a Corolla LE, not $24,000, $17,988. Buy with 0% financing, 0 down. Join the fun and get a super deal at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
South Florida, listen carefully. Osmani Garcia with Omega Realty Group is changing the game. He's not just listing homes. He's guaranteeing to sell yours in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it himself. No excuses, no delays, no fine print games. This is real. If you're serious about selling, call 305-440-1990 and see if your home qualifies. Osmani Garcia delivers results. Osmani Garcia, the home of the 30-day sale guaranteed, where guarantees are backed by action. Call now, don't wait. This market won't wait for you. Restrictions apply. Call 305-440-1990.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
Before you buy or lease a Honda, Volkswagen, Hyundai, or any other model, compare Subaru, rated #1 in safety at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy with 0.9% financing, 0 down. Forester with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $259 a month. Crosstrek with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $239 a month. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, South Florida's #1 volume Subaru.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
So here we are. I wanted to show you the backyard again because we had some trouble last time, but you know, cuttersedgepro.com does some amazing stuff, and there are the boys and the girl. They're having fun. There we go.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
Where can you drive a new Acura ZDX for only $439 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Have you viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Am I there? Oh, now we're there. How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? All right, all right, all right. How y'all feeling out there? You feeling good? It is a beautiful Monday morning. Thank you all for tuning into the show, or whenever you can tune into the show, because obviously we are on all day, all night, because there's on demand always going on here in the world of sports, right? So you guys could come to our show anytime, which is always a beautiful thing. That's what it's all about. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. As always, we appreciate your support on a beautiful Monday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. Some will be celebrating the Cinco de Mayo. I will be celebrating that Caspa is adding 10 blocks per second today. So they are the fastest proof of work. So that'll be just absolutely amazing. And then smart contracts come. So big day for us Caspa investors. It's a beautiful thing. All right. And of course, it was beautiful watching sports this weekend, wasn't it? Not really, right? Anyway, at least we got the Panthers back in action tonight. Jimmy Butler and the Warriors moved on. Perfect matchup against a young Houston team. You know, the Houston team made them look kind of old in the last two games. And last night, they just I didn't see a young team that played, team basketball. They didn't do enough to set each other up. There's just so much one-on-one. And if they're not hot, the Sengun guy is like a black hole. That ball goes in and never comes out again. It's crazy. But anyway, so just crazy stuff overall with the game, and they advance. They get a nice young team, takes them to 7. I think it'll end for them now in Minnesota. Minnesota will definitely beat the Warriors, but I'm sure frustrated for Heat fans. And here's a problem I have with our own fan base here, and I would tell you that you need to expand your frustrations a little bit. Okay? Jimmy Butler is a jerk. We all know that. He acted like an asshole last couple of years. I kept pointing out how he doesn't try during the regular season, and that's a bunch of crap. And so finally they got rid of him and all that good stuff. But don't blame anybody but Pat Riley. And as much as I'm a big fan of Pat Riley, I support Pat Riley. Hey, I support Chris Greer too. And there's a couple things he's done that I disagree with. Well, last 10 years, there's a shit ton of things that I disagree with Pat Riley. And most of you were also wrong. There's a lot of hypocrites in you out there, because you had to trade Butler right after the last trip to the finals. And 99.9% of you would have never done it. So when you're watching Butler advance and all the hell he caused here, just remember, you didn't have the vision just like Pat Riley. I don't know if it's because Riley's, approaching an older age now, and he becomes too damn nostalgic and hangs on to shit for too long. He's like become the hoarder of basketball now. And so have most of you. And so it's kind of funny how I see all the vitriol, the hate, the anger, the frustrations from Heat fans. And it's like, you guys are just as Now, the beauty is that I don't get paid for this and you don't get paid for this. Riley does. But in the end, this is Riley's fault. Every ounce of it is Riley's fault. You knew the player that you signed, and then you knew what you were extending, and yet you were surprised with the way it ended. You know, that's your fault, and you didn't know when to get off the gravy train, like most of you out there in Heat Nation. So really, in the end, Jimmy Butler is going to be Jimmy Butler. He's about himself. He doesn't give a shit. So now you get the fraud that says, oh, I'm all in with my Golden State teammates. And, you know, in a couple of weeks here, when they get eliminated with Minnesota, that'll start, and that's it. And this will be the same shit as LeBron, except LeBron was able to win. Jimmy will never win anything, and he'll never do better than he did when he was here. Just like LeBron James never did better than when he was here. Yeah, he won 2 titles in 2 different places, but those stretches weren't better than the stretch he had here. This will be his greatest stretch of basketball. Jimmy Butler, this will be the greatest stretch of basketball. But besides Jimmy Butler, the guy that really screwed it up completely is Pat Riley. On this show, we're going to call it like we see it. Okay? Just like no matter how much I would defend Greer, I would tell you, why'd you guarantee Tyreek? That was obvious to me. The X one, okay. It's kind of like the Jimmy Butler one. It takes balls and vision to see that. Pat Riley and Chris Greer, neither one of them had it for X after 10 interceptions and Pat Riley after the second trip to the finals. But those are the things that you have to be ruthless in order to run an organization. I don't know if Riley's ruthless anymore. He tends to be late on everything now. And now they have the worst part of the position that the Heat are in. Okay. You know, writers will have to sell you hope. I don't have to sell you shit. I tell you the reality. I don't sell you anything. I don't need to craft it and try. Well, if this or that happens or this happens, they don't have picks and they don't have the cap space. So let's be honest now. I'm going to tell you something I've never told you before. You need to get rid of everybody. And everybody, what I mean by that is Bam and Tyler. That's what they'll never do that. They're not ruthless anymore. They're not ruthless. And since they play the facade game, oh no, we want to be competitive. No, we're not going to give up and all that. You have no chance at a title. You're never going to get close to it right now where you're at. The best thing you do is try to trade Bam for whatever picks you can get. And if you can get a pick for Tyler, go ahead and do it. Move on. Don't tie yourself down to more money to that guy. That's what I would do. And I would build with Khalil and these young guys and then use my draft picks and hope for the best. That's what I would do. Because the Heat are a franchise that refuses to adjust to how you need to do things nowadays. Okay? Plenty of teams now are doing this where they're tearing it down. They're getting as many picks as possible, and they're turning their franchises around over a couple of years of draft, like as you're watching with OKC, as you're watching with Houston. You know, you got to start turning your team around with draft picks. And they have none. And they're not going anywhere, dude. And those two guys, they're not frontline players. So if some sucker will give you multiple picks for Bam, bro, take it. Take it. And if somebody will give you something for Tyler, take it. This whole thing of hanging on to be mediocre, that doesn't make any sense, dude. You need to bottom out. you need to be bad for a couple of years and get in the lottery for a couple of years and get some young players in here. For sure. That's what you've got to do. It'll suck for us because you're going to see a lot of bad basketball, but it's the only way. It's the only road to get back to being great again. This whole quick Band-Aid, we'll turn around and go buy a star, it's not going to happen. And the guys that are available, Zion Williamson, that's another headache. Durant, that's not going to get you anywhere, dude. Durant, Bam, and Tyler win nothing in this league, bro. Why? Because Bam and Tyler are nothing. They're not dogs. And Durant's old already at this point. Yeah, he can score. Still a hell of a player, but you're counting on an often injured superstar that's, breaking down and on the back end of his career at 34, 35, 36, whatever the hell he is. Makes no freaking sense. There is no avenue for the Miami Heat, and there's no one to blame but Pat Riley's stubbornness. That's all. And Mickey Arison also, because I'm sure his refusal to not go all the way down, it's because they're going to lose season ticket holders, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. For me, I don't even know if you're a season ticket holder. Are you even getting when have you been getting your money's worth? For years now. For 3 years now, you had a star that rarely would play or try when he did play. So you weren't getting your money's worth anyway. Like it's not value right now, a Heat ticket. It's just not. I'm sorry. It's not a good product. And they have nowhere to go. That's what I see when I see Jimmy Butler. I don't blame Jimmy Butler for being Jimmy Butler. He's Jimmy Butler. He's the asshole. I blame the Miami Heat for not making the right decisions and protecting themselves and doing what's best for the franchise. Instead of doing the nostalgic bullshit of trying to hang on like the Dolphins, like some of you. Oh, no, Tyreek, no, give him the money. Bro, it's back-to-back 1,700-yard seasons. Yeah, no, that's going to continue. So when you look at Jimmy Butler, don't blame Jimmy Butler. He is what he is. What he did is what he always does. Blame Pat Riley. He's the guy that failed to handle it the right way and avoid all of this shit. All the way to a point where he had a meeting with Butler and he tried to connect with him on some kind of emotional basis or something. And the guy laughed at him. Because Riley's kind of lost his edge. Let's be quite honest. And it happens. As you get older, you kind of lose your edge. So we'll see if he can dig himself out of this. But I'll tell you this. I get it that he's up there in years. And man, as we all get older and I'm getting older, it's like, you kind of start getting the reality of, wow, man, there's not much left for me. I've lived most of my life. So, when is it, So I get it. But whether he likes it or not, what's best for the Miami Heat is a complete reset. An absolute and complete reset. Painful, ugly, long, not normal, but things have changed and you have to adjust. And if you don't adjust, you die. And that's exactly what's going on right now. You don't adjust to Bitcoin, you will die. That's all. You go ahead and keep saving your money in the bank and your little savings account, your little money market account, and you go ahead and don't adjust to what's coming. You will lose. I'm not a financial advisor. Just, I don't know. I guess I have a hell of a lot more common sense than the average person. when it comes to certain things, sports and money. Okay? I think I understand sports and money more than the average person. So I'm just saying. Adjust or die, and the Miami Heat are just dying. Absolutely dying and just doing the same wrong stuff over and over again, and they don't learn. So it's up to them, dude. It's really up to them. But when you look at Jimmy Butler, don't blame anybody but Pat Riley. Don't blame him. Jimmy's going to be Jimmy. You can't change that. You will never change that. Anyway, good morning to all. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are listening, watching. We appreciate it. Please smash the hell out of the like button. Of course, you can also make a donation to the show, Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal. For those of you that live out of the country, PayPal is the option. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Chainlink donations, which is pretty freaking amazing that we're talking that way about it, as always. And don't forget the Big Cheese, a proud sponsor of our program. Manny Navarro joins us on Friday with our Big Cheese NIL and recruiting report. And if you want some great food, go to bigcheesemiami.com, 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue. Tell them that Big O sent you, and that you can order the party platters too for your business, your school, all that. You're going to have a get-together. Any dish can become a platter, and all the dishes, meat sauce, tomato sauce, Alfredo sauce, pink sauce, it's all there for you. bigcheesemiami.com. Tell them that Big O sent you. Good people out there, and the food is to die for. And if you're a UM fan, the walls, the memories are amazing. 40 years of memories with the Canes. So it's crazy stuff. bigcheesemiami.com. If you see Gary, say hi to him and tell him that I sent you. All right, what else do we have here going on in the world of sports? We got the Panthers tonight at the Maple Leafs in Toronto. No Ekblad, remember, because they finished off Tampa with the 2-game suspension. He only served 1. So no Ekblad tonight for the Panthers. But again, the Panthers are so damn deep. They can beat Toronto without Ekblad. It's not what we used to see with the Panthers 5 and 7 and 8 years ago, that if Ekblad was missing, it was, oh my God. You know, that's just not the way it is anymore. And it's a beautiful thing to see how deep the Panthers are nowadays. Zito has done a marvelous job. And like I told you, this is where it hurts to be a Dolphins fan, because Mike McDaniel, this 3rd season here, okay, I know it's his 4th, but like this 3rd season here of where you spent and you went and got all your free agents. I'm talking about the last 2 years. You were supposed to have success, and that would have bred it to the 3rd year where people would have accommodated, taken less. Some would have sacrificed, and you would have been able to keep it going. But because the trajectory is downward, people don't want to be here, don't want to be a part of it, don't want to sacrifice, want to get out. The Panthers are opposite of the Dolphins. The Panthers' constant success now opens the door, even in free agency every year, for guys to say, yeah, you know what, I'm going to go down to Florida and play with a bunch of guys that know how to play the game the right way, and they're trying to win a cup, and I can add something to it, and that helps you in a big time way, because people want to be a part of the Florida Panthers. Nobody really wants to be a part of the Miami Heat, the Miami Marlins, or the Miami Dolphins. Ain't that a bitch? Wow. The 4 major sports and the biggest sport, the Dolphins, unless you're going to overpay for somebody, nobody's going to sacrifice to come here. Nobody's going to sacrifice to stay. That was all proven with Calais Campbell, right? So you've got that already. Miami Marlins, they don't spend, so nobody's going to come here ever, period. End of story. And now the Miami Heat are like that too. Stars don't come here. Nobody comes here. We only got Jimmy Butler, who's disgruntled because of Wade, not because of Riley. Think about that. Where the Panthers are now, their success, their culture, their ambiance, because that arena is the best arena in town right now, the best ambiance in town. The Dolphin one is a hopeful one. And if there's any good things happening, you're celebrating because you're happy about it, but you're not confident. You're not cocky. There's nothing proven. There's nothing. You don't. The Panther fan has. The Panther fan is like I used to feel when I used to walk into the Orange Bowl in the 70s, in the early 80s. That's how I used to feel, like a Panther fan. The Heat fans, the same thing. You're an upstart. You're a play-in team trying to surprise. It's amazing how things have completely changed, dude. I don't count Inter Miami. Inter Miami, they're complete. They're like frauds. They're like Kamala Harris paying for everybody to go to her, all her speeches and her rallies, and she paid for every artist, and that's why she raised $1 billion and spent more because, it was fraudulent. Nobody's there for real. Nobody's there for real for Inter Miami. The fans are fraudulent. Most of them, not the supporters, but most of the ones, they're just Argentine fans, and then they'll be gone once the Argentine group is gone. Frauds as a team. They don't even keep anybody. It's all transient. The Panthers are the only team that is breeding culture in every way possible and giving its fans the confidence that you don't have with any other team. Don't have it with the Canes. You don't have it with Inter Miami. You don't have it with the Miami Marlins. You don't have it with the Miami Heat. Certainly don't have it with the Miami Dolphins. So that's what we're watching tonight. A team that no Ekblad, no problem. Culture's set in stone. They're playing a hell of a team in Toronto. Don't get me wrong. This isn't going to be cake. They could lose tonight. But it's not, oh, my God, they were missing Ekblad. Yeah, dude. They can go in there and easily beat Toronto without Ekblad. But it's just beautiful what they've done and what they've created, and nobody in town has it. Nobody in town has it. It's the Inter Miami thing is like a novelty is what it is. And then once he's gone, it wears out and nobody comes back. And there'll be a bunch of empty seats because you didn't create anything that really connected with all the fans. You just brought a novelty so people can enjoy his final years of pro soccer, period. It's kind of like a farewell tour is what you're paying for. A farewell exhibition tour because it really isn't winning anything. So appreciate the hell out of the Panthers, man, because they've got it all. They've got the great ownership. They've got the great front office. They've got the great coach. They've got a great, deep, proven, confident team. Every part of the team, every part of the foundation exists. It's pretty damn cool. And it's the sport that's, the fourth sport in the country. Hell, it might become the fifth sport with soccer passing it down the line. Soccer will probably end up passing baseball in a few years because young people are growing up with more soccer than baseball. So I wouldn't be surprised if soccer becomes much more popular down the line. Not my generations, but younger generations, I could see that. Gen Z, millennials, I can see that. Definitely. But in this town, the only one that's got it going on is the Panthers. Top to bottom. They're the only ones that have it figured out. The Heat used to have it figured out. Unfortunately, they've lost their way. So, sad part. NorCal is in the house. Happy Cinco de Mayo to you, sir. Jonathan Cago. Jeff in Long Island. Yes, the draft in Washington, D.C. That's a pretty cool town. I've been to Washington, D.C. That's going to be a cool atmosphere to do it there. Nothing against Green Bay and Pittsburgh, but I have no interest on going to either for the draft. Those are not cities that I would hold the draft in, but hey, man, they won the bidding. God bless them. They get to enjoy it. Stephen Harris is in the house. Cosa Nostra, TJ Superman, One-Eyed Jack. He's all on board on the Casper train. There we go. Horn Dog, Alexis Palenzuela, Gus 1388, George Garas, Michael Valladares. Panthers, the only thing left I look forward to. Let's start the series strong. Amen to that, sir. And that's because they're the only real complete franchise top to bottom in town. Luis Notare. I just started setting up my Tangent wallet, moving crypto from exchanges. How do you pay taxes once they're in a cold storage wallet? You will have a opportunity to print one on Tangent at the end of the year. You'll have it. What else? Giovanni Castellone in the house. Brian Lendis. Matthew Owen. Not skinny yet, bro. I'm skinnier, but I need 30 more. 30 more. Then I can say skinny. Still a fat boy. I'll always be a fat boy, even when I'm skinny, because it's always going to be there. You know what I mean? It's just something that's there. Let's see. Jay Gelfin is in the house. What's happening, my brother? Brian Radke, Skylar Tipton. Hitting that subscribe button, says Jay. That's right. And the like button, please hit it. Randy Gonzalez, Vamos Gatos. Big Johnson says, what's up, Owen Company? Good effing Monday to you all. Big O, we are going to extend Hero. That's what a losing organization does. That's all I got to say. Before it even happens, let me just tell you, if you extend Hero and max him out, that's what a loser organization does. So, if you do that, you now know where I'm going to go with the Heat. Okay? Because you're a loser organization if you're maxing that guy out. All right? Sorry. I would have traded his ass by the deadline. You guys know it. This is not hindsight. Not a fan. Never have been. Never will be. Never believed in the kid. Too soft. Sorry. Too soft. Not my guy. Again, blame Riley. No foresight. He can't see that. You know, the whole Bam thing. A lot of people can't see it. Oh, no, he's a franchise player. No, he's not. No, he's not. Blame Riley. Okay? He better fix it, but he better fix it the way he hates it. Or if not, if you do the whole extend Tyler and all that, that'll be a joke. Be a joke. Juan Mendoza in the house. Frankie Fresco. Corso, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. He's already got one in. Die Hard or Lethal Weapon? Die Hard all the way, bro. Die Hard all the way. All the way. Okay. Oh, let's see. Big O, speaking of the Marlins and not trying to be funny, I think they should, Marlins Stadium, be a homeless shelter. Dude, it's all baseball's fault. Baseball is the only one that still doesn't understand that only billionaires should own teams, not millionaires. And they're the only league that has poor owners owning their teams. We had one before in Loria, and now we have another one in Sherman. And sorry again, but boy, was I against this by 15 guys. So, it's not us. It's not the stadium. You got bad ownership. But, Shayna, they bought the tickets. They knew what they were getting into. I say, let them crash. That's just the way I'm going to go. Baseball knew what they were adding. They were adding guys that didn't have any pockets. Done, So, or no digital wallets, which is what you need nowadays. All right, let's do it. Let's rock and roll. Let's talk a little basketball with the one and only Ira Winderman and our Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All right. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Doing good. Kind of interesting morning here. One, we learned the Cavaliers aren't invincible. Two, we learned Jimmy Butler plays on. It's kind of interesting, Big O. Without the Heat playing yesterday, it really was a double loss for the franchise. When you look at it, it's like that's how things are going, that even when they don't play, it can be a bad weekend.
Yeah, because you see Indiana play with some guts. They got players that you don't see on this team with the Miami Heat. They're playing, in a tough moment the way they did, eliminating another team in the first round. It's just, you look around, Houston, they made Golden State look old the last two games, right? But last night, obviously, Golden State with their experience and Houston with their inexperience, because I saw a lot of youth and ability there. It's just I didn't see a lot of teamwork. They don't work hard enough to set each other up in Houston. You know what I mean? Whereas better teams do that, like the one they played yesterday, and that's why they got eliminated. But at least with Houston, you see young pieces there that can get you excited and that you're building. You see it in Detroit, for Christ's sake. There are places that you're like, oh, my God, what's going on there? And look what's going on here. And that's where, before you came on, whether Riley likes it or not, which I know he doesn't, really the only way to go forward for this team is to completely tear it down.
But Big O, I'm going to throw it back at you because you mentioned the Rockets and you mentioned the Pistons. How many years are you willing to go with the teardown? Because look at the Pistons' history and look at the Rockets' history and the years they missed the playoffs. So let me ask you this. It's all bold and bravado to say tear it down.
Okay.
It would take about 5 years to get the stockpile that the Rockets and Pistons
Ira, what have you done the last 2 years? What are you going to do next year? That's 3 years already of wasted time.
You have to pick a starting point. So you can say what you could have, would have. You were in the finals 2 years ago.
Ira, the Heat are in a fucking hamster wheel, dude. They've got no money, no space, no sexiness. Nobody really wants to come here. They've got no real options. Durant's not going to put them over the top. Why take a Zion Williamson problem? My point is what I've never told you before. You got to get rid of Bam and Tyler. Get as many picks as possible and
5 to 7 years. 5 to 7 years.
Well, hey, too bad, so sad, Pat Riley. It's worked out for OKC. It's working out for Houston. It's working out for Detroit. It's the way you build nowadays, baby. You either adjust or die. There's a reason why Warren Buffett this weekend said you might want to start investing in other currencies, not the United States. You either adjust or die. You see what's going on with our deficits. You see what that's going on. If you don't adjust, you will die. Bitcoin, same shit here. If you don't adjust, you will die. These teams that are getting back, if you're expecting a Luka trade to land on your lap like it did for the Lakers, my God, dude, that was great for us. It was called Alonzo Mourning back in the day. It doesn't happen with the aprons anymore. There's no real option to get you to a championship, which is what they're all about. So actually, the best way to get to it is the furthest way to get to it. It's by tearing it down, because the one that you think is a shortcut is really not a shortcut, because you keep doing it and it's a hamster wheel that you're just spending your time and spinning your wheels. And again, you're only drunk on the 2 trips to the finals because of the bubble year. Perfect scenario, not really a great team. And then the other year where you had Embiid and Giannis injured, again, perfect scenario. We're drunk on 2 things that we keep thinking will continue to happen. Hamster wheel. Hamster wheel.
You know, you can say it all you want. I know South Florida. I've lived here for over 4 decades. I know what fans will accept. I know what fans will put up with. And if you think a franchise down here can survive 5 years in the toilet where Detroit was with 23, 25 straight losses, they can't. And the Heat knew that. And Mickey Harrison is part and fabric of this community. And he understands South Florida simply will not tolerate that. So you stay competitive. You offer interesting games. You offer what we saw in the play-in. You offer what we saw in the finals 2 years ago.
Again. And never win a championship again, because you'll be the Dolphins. You're good enough to beat the shitty teams, but not good enough to beat the good teams. Congratulations. You have joined the Miami Dolphins. That's why I've actually said these last 10 years are the 80s of the Miami Dolphins. The 10 years prior to that for the Miami Heat were the 70s. Boy, they are mirroring the Dolphins. The Dolphins have made every decade worse and worse and worse, and the Miami Heat are now making the next decade.
And it's just odd, because as I think back, I can't recall the Dolphins being in the Super Bowl twice in the last 7 years. I must have missed that.
Again,
you can create the narrative.
Drunk on a bubble move, and then again, Giannis and Embiid getting injured.
It happens every year to whoever wins the championship finds a way. And whoever finds a way this year, you'll say, well, Embiid was hurt and the Sixers' great team was never great. And Giannis and Damian Lillard went out in the first round, and we never saw the best.
You got to the finals against Denver, and it proves that you're a fraud. You did nothing. You blew everybody's up, and you said, oh, we're going to have a great year, this, that. And in the end, just like the Dolphins against the Niners, you got spanked and you got sent home and said, yeah, dude, you had a hot year. Go ahead. Get the hell out of here. It was a hot year for nothing. It's hot air. That's all. The Heat are in the hamster wheel where they're not going to ever be a championship team anymore. They're not sexy enough. They don't have the picks. They don't have the space. They don't have the players. They don't have anything to acquire real championship pieces. Come on, man. You got to tear it down. That's the best thing that they would do. You're not getting anywhere with these guys. Hasn't that been proven with those 2 kids?
Nope. It just hasn't. It just Tyler Hero, if you remember in 2020 and the playoffs and what he did against Celtics, so don't say he hasn't anything in the playoffs. Bam Adebayo, teams that have made the conference finals and the Eastern finals. No, I think the opposite. I think you show a smart front office and how you can augment and build around that, because you don't want Detroit was more than awful. It was unwatchable. Remember last year with Monty Williams and the losing streak that they had. And you can say all you want that. That's fine. As long as Mickey Harrison is willing to offer free tickets, free parking, and free admission, you can do that. You can't do that down here.
I understand that it's going to be brutal, but you've done that to yourself. You have put yourself in this position. So if you want to keep, pumping hopium to people, you go ahead and keep pumping hopium. But the reality is what I keep saying, because look what's going on. Nothing. It's what you are. Nothing. And by the way, how many times do I have to see Bam when he goes up against somebody that plays him tough go small? That happens to him all the time, dude. He's the bigger version of James Harden.
Oh, that's absurd and beyond stupid. The depths that he's gone in the playoffs and the level he's gone in the playoffs compared to James Harden and what he's shown on an international stage with the Olympic team. No, this guy is a proven winner. Unless you didn't watch the Olympics last summer, this guy has shown so many
Olympians around him. Ira, they're Olympians, or Dwayne Wade, or Jimmy Butler. But he is the servant. He's not the leader, dude. He's not. If he was a leader, he would have done something now.
I'm sorry. James Harden didn't do anything on either side of the floor when they lost Game 7 on Saturday. Bam Adebayo always does something on one side of the floor, no matter how grim it was. You know what? Bam Adebayo was really good defensively against the Cavaliers in that series, and he found himself surrounded by 4 non-defenders. No, he's a guy who will consistently produce for you at the level that you know what he is. He is a defensive alpha. Is he a beta on offense?
But not a franchise player. And you're paying him to be a franchise player, and he's not even close.
And his salary and the way the extensions work and the way the cap will work, he'll settle in very nicely as a number 2. So, Big O, what you really have to think about instead is not where you've spent your money, but where you're spending your money. So when Tyler Hero comes up for his extension in October, and you're saying it's one thing to pay Bam 50, everyone pays a player 50 who might not be an alpha. That's the reality. Just deal with it. Tom Cruise gets $50 million for a movie. He's not very good anymore. You just pay for it. It's when you have 2 of them. It's when you have 2 of them or 3 of them, that's the problem. But you have to build around something. What you want to do, Big O, is build around air, is cast it all aside and then hope that every single draft choice hits. Every single draft choice.
You gotta hope that when you tank, you get higher picks and you got a chance to get a star. You don't have one now. You have no dogs on the team right now. Okay, Larson has dog in him, but he's light years away to prove anything. Ware has some dog in him, but again, these are puppies. You got to see what you can get out of those guys. But Bam's been around long enough to prove he's not a dog offensively. He doesn't bring it every night, and especially in key moments, it's not in him, and Tyler's not the guy. So you're paying for people that are never going to get you there. They're supporters. They're not leaders. In the successes that they've had, they have supported in those moments. But they're put in positions
in their financial position with those 2, even under contract. If Tyler doesn't get extended and plays out the 2 years, you will absolutely be positioned 2 years from now to have 4 first-round picks to offer, to have salary cap space to offer once Wiggins expires. What I'm saying, Big O, is there is a window. You might have to thread a needle, but there is a window 2 years down the road, not 5 years down the road, when you will have the financial wherewithal, cap space, when you will have the draft pick wherewithal, 4 first-round picks, when you will have the tradable salaries need be an expiring or that opening for a flat-out signing someone, and then you find the guy and thread the needle. Because I don't care what you say. Bam Adebayo, one thing about his game, and this is important, Big O, his game is not going to get much worse because it is what it is, and that's a good thing in some standpoint. He will always be a quality defender. He will always be a third-tier scorer. Don't disagree. Tyler Hero will be a bucket to the day he dies, will not be that leading player or that number 2. Maybe can be a number 3. They have set themselves up to add that guy. Now, when Luka extends this summer with the Lakers, then you can tell me, hey, Ira, a door is closed, and I'll agree with you. But there'll be another guy. There always is another guy there. Now, can you be the team?
So this is what you're selling now. So here's 3 years of spinning the wheel, doing nothing.
2 more years.
No. This is just completed the 3rd year where you do nothing. Okay? You've been a playing team. You've done nothing. And now next year, you're not going to be nothing. And then the year after that, you're not going to be nothing. That's 5 years of playing the same kind of style that they want to play in the front office. And then you're
2 finals.
Years of bullshitting around, because this is what you've been doing. You've been bullshitting around because you're going to continue. You're continuing on this whole thing of the whole, the prayer in the window again. Okay. So now the prayer in the window, and if that falls through, then what happens after that? And you've wasted 5 years when you could have already been tearing it down for a while. And by the way, this is not hindsight. I wanted to trade Jimmy right after that last finals trip. Okay. So it's not hindsight. This is that Pat Riley doesn't have foresight anymore. And he refuses to adjust to the way things are done nowadays. All these teams are getting better by taking a bunch of steps back. And I get it. It's above you because you're the Miami Heat. And that attitude, I'm sorry, dude, you're the billionaire. Again, we go back to the cheapness of the billionaire.
How can you say cheapness? He's been in the luxury tax for 5 years. He spent more in luxury tax money than all maybe but 8 teams in that stretch. Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Last couple of years, I'm sure he's cutting a profit. I'm sure he's cutting some kind of a profit, but he knows if he tears it down to the spikes, he's not going to cut a profit anymore. He's not going to have the place full. He's not going to have his suites full. That's why he also doesn't want to do it, because by tearing it down, you're also going to have to lower prices and do all those other things that they don't want to do. He doesn't want to bite the bullet. That's when a billionaire says, yeah, we got to bite the bullet and say, all right, this is what we are because this is the new plan and this is what we're going to do. And then you'll find out if whatever Heat Nation gets behind you, great. I'll still be watching. I'll still be supporting. Either way, I'm still going to be watching or supporting. But I'm telling you, what you're doing now is getting you absolutely nowhere because you're not willing to actually, go all the way out and reset the entire team like so many others are doing, and it's working out for them. This whole thing about catching, a star, man, those days are gone for us, man. They're gone.
How do you know?
Because I've watched it. The only guy that's brought people is Wade, not him. It's not him bringing them anymore.
Jimmy Butler brought 2 trips to the NBA Finals and
Wade brought Jimmy Butler, who brought the 2 trips to the finals. Wade brought Bosh and LeBron, which brought the 2 titles and the 3 trips. He hasn't brought anybody since the day of Shaq, to be quite honest.
You have to know your market, and I'll point it out this way.
I get it.
If I'm in Orlando, I can wait because there's not a goddamn other thing as a resident there, not a tourist, to do. If I'm in Oklahoma City and I've seen the oil derricks on the way in from the airport to downtown, you are waiting because unless you're driving down to Norman to watch the Sooners, there's not a goddamn other thing to do. Certain places are built. Utah right now just re-upped today Will Hardy, their coach, after a disastrous season because it was perfectly disastrous because it's Utah. God bless them and their new hockey team there. But you can do that in certain places. You also have to know your market and who you are. We've seen the Marlins tear down year after year after year after year.
They don't have money. They don't have money. They're incompetent.
Nothing happens and no one shows up and the place is a mausoleum. So you have to be careful.
Hold on a second.
Sure.
Hold on a second. While the Marlins are a horrible place, they've had great talent come and go right through there. They just don't have the money to keep them to actually build a foundation, but they actually, over the last few years, probably could have built a better foundation than the Miami Heat. The problem is they're too damn cheap. It's not a good example. The Miami Heat have the money, but actually to put your money to use the right way, you got to reset the whole team so that way you could get your young guys.
And I am not disagreeing with the reset.
You get them in rookie contracts the first few years. You get that rotation going. It just opens things up.
And I'm not against a reset. It's the time frame that Orlando Alzagari is proposing versus the one that I'm saying is commonsensical for this team when you still have 2 relatively young players, other relatively young, intriguing pieces, either for you or for elsewhere. Is I'm saying you still have a little more equity available than I think you think they do right now when you're saying no money, no picks, no capital, nothing attractive. I disagree. They haven't rock bottomed, and I think that there could be moves made with what they have to get themselves, one, in a better position to make themselves more attractive and sexy for that star, whomever it is, whenever it is. Remember, when Alonzo Mourning came here, Big O, you know this. First, he was looking for the money, just like Jimmy, everyone is. But he saw something that could be better than what he had in Charlotte. At a time, he had Larry Johnson and a pretty interesting team there with Del Curry and what they had going on. He saw something. Big O, what I'm saying is you have to create something that you can go out and sell. Can you go out and sell now? Probably not that easy. Can you go out and sell in a year or two? Easier because you'll have more capital. You can show what you're doing. You certainly have a coach that most players in every player poll says they would like to play for because they believe that he can get the best out of them. So what I'm saying on today's Accurate Pembroke Pines report is this. I can see a soft reset. I do not disagree with it. I can see a year or two of telling people, yep, we spun our wheels for a couple of years. We might have to for a couple of more. We gave you those 2 final runs, whether you think they were worth it or not. And now we can reset because we have the youth of Ware. We have the youth of Jovic. Whether you want to look at the youth of Larson in there, I'd like to say Jaquez. I'm not so sure anymore. Tyler is still a young player. We have enough that we could build something that someone on the outside looks at and says, you know what? They might just be turning the corner there. And that's what you need to do. You know what? That's who the Orlando Magic are right now. Everyone knows the Magic are a point guard and a shooter away. But someone now looks at Franz Wagner and looks at Banchero and says, you know what? They were a 500 team this year. They barely won their division, but they can be something. So what I'm saying to you is, you're talking about rearranging the deck chairs in the Titanic. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you have enough quality deck chairs that you can set up your storefront that someone might walk by on the trade market or free agency and going, they weren't that bad too long ago. I think they could again. I think that's how you entice. I'm telling you that your 5-year plan, if well constructed, can be a 2-year plan. That's all.
So you're for Zion or Durant, any of those options for this
I'm
offseason?
for Durant with no more than 1 future pick. I'm for resetting this franchise to a way where they create that attractive look again. Look, I don't want culture jerseys or culture on the court anymore. That ship has sailed. That's so 2010s. I get all of that. But what I'm saying is, I think with the pieces you have, you can present a better looking product that when the next incarnation is available, that when you're Jimmy Butler with the Philadelphia 76ers and you're saying, even though Dwayne Wade is now gone, even though Chris Bosh is done because of his health, I could see something blooming there, and he was right. And you want to hope the next player in the 2027 offseason can say the same. So I'm a little more subtle than you. We'll see.
Okay. I think what they're doing is, and it's just looks like it. They're just, you keep trying to hang on to old glory, and you just can't improve that way anymore. They want the quick fix. There's no quick fix for their problem, but all right. Well,
okay, and that's where you and I disagree. I agree there's no quick fix. I think there could be a quicker fix. I'm not going to sell my home right now because the market is down. But you know what? If I renovate the kitchen and one of the bathrooms and get it to look a little bit better, then the next buyer might come by and go, you know what? This house still needs a little work, but damn, that kitchen is fine. And that's the nice house they have in the bathroom.
You might have gotten more for Tyler at the break than you do now at the end of the year. You know, that's like it was not a good look for him. He didn't raise his value. I think he hurt his value, even if you wanted to move him. So you're extending. You're for extending Tyler?
No, I'm for Tyler. Hey, you were right in your press conference. You can't get more next summer. Let's wait until next summer. And Big O, that's all they try to do with Jimmy. Was they said, let's play the season out. Let's see what you're worth. And they would be in a better financial position this offseason. So, yes, I'm requesting patience. This is when you see if the Heat culture, if the buy-in is full. If Tyler Hero wants a better, he even said this in his press conference, and a winning future, he knows waiting makes more sense. He knows it puts them in a better position. So my point being, patience with Tyler. And you know what? And it pains me to do this. I'm going to agree with Orlando Alzagari. They re-upped too quickly with Bam Adebayo. If you remember that 2020 offseason, just because Giannis re-signed with Milwaukee, they didn't wait till the following summer and create space. Last July, as soon as Bam's getting ready for Team USA in Vegas, they redid him. They could have waited also. They need to pull back. I agree with you on that. This team has acted to a degree with a bit too much haste. But here's the difference. I believe Bam Adebayo will buy in for a better Heat future. I believe, not as sure, but I believe Tyler Hero will buy in for a better Heat future. Jimmy Butler only gave a rat's ass about himself and his money. And that was the difference in when you're talking about if you want to sort of, cast your future with a certain player. It has to be with the Zoe-like, the Hardaway-like, the Dragic-like, who said, I am in this to win this with you. This is my team. The problem in recent years has been you had Jimmy Butler, who was all about himself. I'll give you another name, and you're going to agree also. Kyle Lowry, who was all about himself. If you get these renegade independent contractors, all the culture in the world, all the Pat Riley arm around the back, doesn't give a rat, it's not going to matter. They want their money. They want it their way. I think the Heat right now have the right players to work with. So what I'm saying is I see a lump of clay I can still malleable and make into something of quality. You're saying take the lump of clay and put it out with the recycling and start all over again. Yes. I'm telling you, I don't think it has to be all 5 years. We'll
do what you've never done before is kind of reset the team, which is something that I know he hates and he wouldn't, he doesn't.
2008, that's when they did it to get Michael Beasley because they didn't get Derrick Rose because they finished one team short in the lottery and then they had to build that back up. Hey, you know what? That was a 2-year plan. In 2010, they got the big three. That was a 2-year plan. So you know what? Here's the difference. I'm banking on
different rules
and different times and different Riley and younger Riley, and I understand all that. But what I'm saying is I would first try to see if that blueprint is doable. And this is Big O, this is how they do it. They go to Andy Ellisberg. What can we look like in 1 year? That's not too good. What can we look like in 2 years? That's not too good either. But eventually they'll hit that year between draft choices and capital and room to make a move, and they'll go, that's our target date. Pat Riley has always been really good about setting his target date. So the question now is, I'm saying my target date is 2027. You're saying your target date to be like Houston and Detroit is 2030. Let's see what Andy Ellisberg says. I'll ask him, and we'll get back to it next time in our Accurate Pembroke Pines report.
Yeah. Well, they've been trying to get there for the last few years, and it doesn't seem to work out. So
unless it was a pathway, but I will agree with that. The Jimmy Butler thing was more toxic than any single moment in the 37 years of this franchise. More toxic than how they blew it with Dwayne Wade. More toxic than, unfortunately, Chris Bosh and his blood clots, Alonzo Mourning and his kidney. More toxic than Michael Beasley proving to not be a number 2 in a draft when you had Kevin Love and Russell Westbrook and other players. But I think this is the ultimate hurdle, and part of that can't be on Pat. Look, you said trade Jimmy in 2019 and 2020 after the finals in 23. Don't extend him. I get all that. But Big O, be honest here for a second. You never thought it would get that toxic with Jimmy. You thought it would get toxic, and I agree with you. But oh my God, that guy was way more of a son of a bitch than I think anyone could have, because what he did to the Heat was even worse than what he did to the Timberwolves.
And plus, he was already starting that bullshit of not playing. And I saw it that year, and I said, "No, enough. You got to get off. Now's the time."
And he took it.
The way I saw it is, you got away. You played with fire, and dude, you're the kid that skipped all year in school, a whole bunch back in our day, and you still passed with like a C or D or whatever. You know what I mean? Sure. And that's what happened that year. You coasted throughout the regular season. You were a low seed, and then you shocked the world. You had everything fall in place for you, and then you thought that was going to be the norm. And that's why I wanted to get off the gravy train at that moment right there. And then I said, you cannot extend this guy. You need to trade him now. His value is at an all-time high. You could have gotten 4 first-rounders. By the way, your little quick turnaround could have happened right there in that moment.
And you know what? And Big O, all I'm saying is this. The past is the past. Neither you nor I or Pat or Andy are going to undo it. So you have to sit down here and you have to say on May 5th, 2025, what's our best path? We're not going in the hot tub time machine. We're not going back and saying, wait,
that's all right. But I can't sit here and say, Pat, why didn't you listen to me, bro? I mean, Jesus Christ.
What's done is done. So I think over the next few weeks in our Accurate Pembroke Pines report, you and I are going to sit down and we're going to come up with a blueprint. And the blueprint's going to be what happens this summer, what happens next season, next summer, gradual steps right now. You can't undo the past. The past is the past. They are where they are, a 20th place team in the NBA. So now how do you make those steps forward? Or better yet, in your view, how do you plan forward for when the next best time could be? Whether it's 27, whether it's 30, whether it's not at all. We'll see.
All right. And by the way, I think people define Heat culture in the wrong way. Because, oh, wait, if you're not winning, there's no Heat culture. That has nothing to do with it, dude. The culture is that they prepare their players the best they can possibly be prepared. It's still up to the person to be a professional. Rozier's, you can only do so much, and then it's up to Terry to do his job. You can only do so much. It's up to Whiteside to do his job. But no matter who you are, you're going to have the best foundation to go have success, because the Heat culture is always there, dude. But people make it sound like Heat culture is like a thing that goes up and down. Bullshit. Heat culture is present every day for employees, for the front office, for the players, for
and
the
best kept internal instead of a motto and a sales pitch. It should be something inside. It's what's inside that matters.
Yeah, like just because they're having a bad year, that doesn't mean the culture's gone, dude. The culture's alive and well in that place. You still need talent, bro. You still need talent to put you over the top. What's it called? Viola can spend a bunch of money, right? And if Dale Talon's not the guy, well, you're not going to get the same results. You bring in Zito, and then all of a sudden, it's not that the owner was any worse. He wanted to do all the right things, but you got to have the talent in place, whether it's a general manager or a player. And Heat culture prepares you, even as coaches and assistant coaches. We have seen them leave here and go have success in other places. I think that's really, really cool. So I don't think people define culture the right way sometimes. That's all. I'm just kind of, it's like only with W's. That's not what it means overall, but whatever. All right. What do you got going on the Sentinel?
I wrote a column just now about the Cavaliers not looking invincible, Jimmy moving on, and the reality He'd have to take another W. And I also been writing on my Ask Iras all along. We really need to hear not only what Pat Riley says, but how he says it. This is going to be a very interesting moment of truth. And I think Pat Riley is going to face harder questions in this year's session than arguably even the LeBron year and other years, because there's a lot to answer for right now.
Oh, the trajectory is this way for the Miami Heat. That's never been like that under Pat Riley. It's never been like that. It looks like that now. The constant bad decisions, not a lot of great options, and your roster is not necessarily sexy when you start looking at other teams and what's going on. So, yeah, he unfortunately, again, not about firing him or anything, but, yeah, dude, unfortunately he has to face heat because they haven't done a good job lately. They just haven't.
The question should be, don't think I'm going to ask it, would be this. If you were the owner of a franchise and your president made the Terry Rozier trade, had the contretemps with Jimmy Butler, and it ended up that way, right, and have struggled to bring in quality talent in recent years, how as a team owner would you handle that team president? It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, you're right. The difference is he has a track record and he has earned that right. And so that's what I would say. And that's where I don't defend Riley's moves lately. And I definitely, if that's the way they're going to go, oh my God, do I disagree with that? But he has earned the right to dig himself out of this hole. That I will never, ever argue, because he like I said before, man, we can't do what we did to Shula. We gotta allow Larinaga to leave when he wants, and Jim Morris and Ron Frazier. When they've paid their dues,
they decide.
We gotta let them decide. They'll know. They're so good that they don't want to deal with the embarrassment long enough. So they'll know when it's time, when things have passed them by. But you got to let those kind of people do it. What we did to Shula is unforgivable, and we can't do that to Riley. And we've done it the right way with some other guys. You know what I'm saying? Katie Meyer was here for a long time, and she chose to leave when she wanted. And, she kind of earned that right too after a positive tenure there. Overall, I think it's sometimes we got to be respectful for some of these people that have given us so much.
And hopefully next time when we talk, Paddle of Talk, we'll have a better sense. So could be interesting.
All right. Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat, and make sure you subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Ira, as always, thank you. We will catch up next week.
Thanks, Big O.
You got it. There we go. And the 17th anniversary is going on. We've been there, I don't know, I think it's 14 or 15 of those 17 years, something like that. I think we started in 2010, or, well, the RDX that my wife drives is 2010, 2009, 2010. So maybe it's 16 of those 17 years we have been with Acura Pembroke Pines, and they are in their 17th anniversary. They're ass kickers. The Integra right now, 2025 model, you can get 3.9% financing for 60 months. The ZDX, the get electrified, baby, and you can get some great deals right now because they're the 2024 models. 2025, you might pay a little bit more tariffs. So you may want to take advantage. 0% financing, 72 months on those 2024s. Take advantage of it right now. 2025 RDX, $419 a month, 4.9% financing for 60 months. And the ADX, brand new sedan. It is beautiful. 4-door, $359 a month. They just arrived. They got a nice selection. Go check it out. Excuse me, at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Finest dealership in the business, baby. It is Craig Zins, Acura of Pembroke Pines.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA Report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
Where can you drive a new Acura ZDX for only $439 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. Jermaine, don't be a sucker, bro. Don't be a fool. Okay? Dame literally came out and said he wanted to play here. What Dame says means nothing, dude. Did he really want to play here? Did Shaq want to leave Orlando? Did he leave? He did, right? And he went to LA like he wanted to. Did what's it called? Eyebrow over in New Orleans leave and said, I want to go, and he left also? Did James Harden, when he says he wants to leave, he goes, and he goes wherever he wants? Did Jimmy Butler, he wanted to leave, and he wanted to go to the Suns, but then he wanted to go to the Warriors because they were the only ones that would pay him money, and they would have to trade him to the Warriors. So did Dame really want to come to Miami? Because, last time I checked, dude, when you're Kevin Durant and you want to leave, you leave. And you go, and you sign somewhere else. What naive world do you live in, Jermaine? If Dame really wanted to play in Miami, he would have told the guy in Portland, hey, F you, buddy. I'm not going to Milwaukee. So you could call him and everything, and I'll tell Milwaukee, I don't want to play for you people. I want to go to Miami. So you either trade me to Miami or I'll make your life a living hell. Okay? People love me here. They don't love you. And if Dame Lillard wanted to be, Jermaine, if Dame Lillard want to be a dick like Shaq, like Harden, like Butler, okay? If he wanted to be a dick and get moved wherever he wanted, like what they do in the NBA all the time. All the time. Because when the dude in Washington, what's his name that I didn't want him and he went to Phoenix? He wanted his money. He got his money, and then he got traded. What's his name?
Beal.
Huh? Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal got his money and then got a demand to get traded and got traded to where he wanted to go. So, Jermaine, please, bro, please don't be naive, dude. Dame said whatever he said, but he did what he wanted to do. He went to Milwaukee. But if he wanted to come to Miami, he easily could have forced the issue, dude. Easily could have forced the issue. The only thing is, like, again, Jermaine, you didn't listen to the show then either. What did I say then? Anybody remember? What did I say about Dame Lillard? Because I'm not saying anything different right now, but what did I say about Dame Lillard? What did I say about him? What did I say about him business-wise? Huh? What did I say about him? Huh? He's a wuss. He's gutless. I don't want anything to do with Dame Lillard anymore. Why? Because he can hit a three? But when it came to business, he folded like a little bitch. In the NBA, you demand and you get what you want, bro. I'm Carmelo Anthony, and I want you to trade for me. And you're going to trade the house, and I'm going to get my money. And what does Carmelo get? His money, and he gets traded. And he gets traded for a bunch of players and has no team in New York. He got his wish, but then he had no team because they traded everybody to Denver. So, Jermaine, bro, if you're that dumb or naive, okay, because that's the laziest thinking out there. Oh, no, Dame wanted to really come. No, he didn't. He just mentioned it. But it wasn't really his option. He just wanted to get out. And he was fine with going to – dude, if you go to Milwaukee over Miami, what kind of a loser are you, bro? I don't want anything to do with Dame Lillard when I saw that. I saw a guy with no balls. No balls whatsoever. Gutless. Gutless. He's only a tough guy on the court. That's it. He's only a tough guy on the court. But when it came to life, he's a complete wuss, bro. Puss. Gutless. My God, Dame Lillard is an embarrassment to men overall, bro. He doesn't stand for shit, dude. That's who he's been his whole life. Gutless, never had an opinion out in Portland, always want to be a nice guy, always want to serve everybody, and now he got served over to Milwaukee. That's it. Too bad, so sad. But if you think he really wanted to play here, Jermaine, you don't know shit, dude. You don't watch basketball. You don't pay attention. So, Jermaine, come on, dude. Are you kidding me? Dame Lillard, complete wussy, bro. I've never seen a bigger wuss in my life than Dame Lillard. You need to go back and watch those videos. Nothing's changed here. Said the same shit then than I said now. In the NBA, you go where you want to go. Okay? You demand and you get traded. And it's been like that forever. LeBron goes wherever the hell he wants to go. And Bosch wanted out, and he got out. And he wanted to go to Miami, and he went to Miami. And he forced Pat Riley to trade for him and everything. Bosch and LeBron could have signed with Miami straight up. And because of their greed and Riley's weakness, because, of course, Riley had no pull here. It was all Wade. Don't anybody tell you. If Riley had pull, both of them would have signed here for nothing, no price. They wanted to hold on to their bird rights. So they forced the Heat to trade first rounders. So anybody that tells you Riley's got juice, Riley has no fucking juice anymore, dude. And he's been proving that all the way since 2010. Zero juice. And that's a perfect example right there. Not only do players, they go where they want to go, and they force you to do what you want them to do, Jermaine. Or any of you out there that may have that thing, oh, but Dame wanted to come here. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Okay. Dame wanted to come here. He comes here. He becomes a Heat player. So, that's it. Anyway, let's see, that he was weak and had no balls. That's right. Lenny remembers. So that's how it goes. A whole lot of Dame has achieved with the Bucks and Giannis. No injuries with a future in doubt. Yeah. Or injuries and a future in doubt. Oh, Luis Medina says, still down 110 pounds from 340. You're a freaking stud, bro. That's awesome. It's been 10 months. I've kept it off. That's the hardest part. That's the hardest part because I've lost it. This is the fourth time I've lost a lot of weight, and I never keep it off. This is the first time I keep it off for a year now that I've kept it off, which is a miracle. Okay? So congratulations, Lewis, man. That is absolutely studly. True Fin fan, thank you for the love on the super chat. Are you okay? Cough sounds weird. No, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm good in the hood. Another True Fin fan. We are not Detroit. This is Miami. 5 years is fine. True Fin fan again. 5 years to build again. I'm in. I think it's the only way you rebuild the Heat is by completely. You got to go and tear it all the way down, bro. Corso, thank you for the love on the super chat. Is it time for Spo to join the front office GM? Listen, whenever Riley decides that, that's fine. It's all good. I'm not going to be the guy, fire Riley, all that. I'm not doing that shit. But I am going to say, Riley, dude, you got to fix this. You got to fix this. And you may have to do it the way you hate it. You may have to completely reset the team. And just out of curiosity, okay, we got over 100 people watching right now. Can you guys answer this for me? Do you guys like what Ira was selling? Do you guys look at Bam or Tyler as frontline players? Like top threes? I don't. I don't even look at Bam as a three anymore. He can be a three on a team that you don't have like a guy that can be a three. Because this league is so offensive. I need dogs that can score, bro. And I don't see it from him. And with Tyler, I don't trust. So for me, it's just like I'm good parting ways with both of them now. With Bam, I was good with saving him, but you have no shot at getting a star anymore. I'm good with getting rid of those guys, dude. And if you can get picks, which I think you might be able to get more picks for Bam. And this, by the way, the other silly one is guys want to play with Bam. Well, no. If guys wanted to play with Bam, they would have come to play with Bam. Okay. When Dwayne Wade wanted to recruit people, he recruited them. It happened. It's not, it's not just talk. And with Bam, it's just talk. Oh, well, he's on the USA team, and whatever. So what, bro? He's not one of the leaders on the USA team. He's one of the supporters on the USA team. That's just funny. Juan Mendoza, we had a good chance this year to start with potential 2 first-round picks, but a meaningless playoff berth cost us 2 first-rounders. Please, God, let the Heat trade away Hero. Again, Juan, you're backing me up. And this is what the Heat have become, the team that can barely make the playoffs. And dude, that's not who you are. So Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar and the great Alan Blanco, 786-618-1443, custom printing and embroidery. Tonight at 8 o'clock on ESPN. Panthers visiting the Toronto Maple Leafs. Panthers minus 125 on the money line. The Maple Leafs are plus 105. So on the road and everything, the Cats are the favored ones on the money line. No Ekblad, remember, last game for the suspension. Warriors, they beat the Rockets last night, 103-89. Butler with 20 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. Steph Curry, by the way, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. They win the series 4-3 and advance. Pacers defeated the Cavs last night, 121-112 to take a 1-0 lead in that best-of-7 series. Pretty damn impressive. What else? F1 race, Oscar Piastri ends up winning the race. The Miami Grand Prix, and in the Kentucky Derby, Saventry wins the Kentucky Derby. Journalism comes in second, and Baez, I think it is pronounced, comes in third in the 151st running of the Kentucky Derby. And Washington, D.C. has been named as the host site for the NFL Draft in 2027. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar, custom printing and embroidery. Please reach out to my guy, Alan Blanco, 786-618-1443. All right. What else do we have to talk about on the show? Got a bunch of stuff. By the way, I didn't watch like the F1 race itself. I ran into it a couple times, but I ran into it in the pregame. Danica Patrick, dude. Okay. Anyway, what else do we have going on in the world of sports? Oh, by the way, besides that, on the market side, Dow Jones is up 58 points. The S&P's down 16.5 points. The NASDAQ is barely up a third of a point. So that's what's going on. On the crypto side, Bitcoin is hovering around 94,000. So we were at 97 and now dropped to 94. We have the FOMC meeting this week, Tuesday and Wednesday, get together, and I think that's where the volatility comes from, which you're going to get overall in the stock market for the next couple of days because they're waiting. They're not going to cut rates. Don't expect them to cut rates. They're not going to cut rates. Powell is not going to try to save Trump. Okay, he's going to let Trump sink or swim on his own, and right now he's sinking, so he's going to let him do that. Plus, if the tariffs add to inflation, which is expected, he doesn't want to then be cutting rates at that time. CASPA today becomes 10 blocks per second, which is an enormous thing for them because they become the fastest proof of work blockchain in the world. Michael Saylor buys 1,895 Bitcoin at 95,167 for $180 million. They now own 555,450 Bitcoin at $38.08 billion and at an average of 68,550 per coin. Wirehouses like USB and others are now going to get into Bitcoin, which is absolutely enormous. Trump orders to open Alcatraz. That'll cost some money. He also put 100% tariffs on movie produced outside the USA. So the old geezer thinks that every movie should be shot here. So now I'm going to pay like $70 to take the wife to the new Mission Impossible movie. Anyway, Vitalik says Ethereum should adopt a protocol similar to Bitcoin to improve security, scalability, and efficiency. Too late. Plus, Ethereum was proof of work, which is the more secure network than proof of stake, and they switched. And so now it's too late. You're going to go switch back to proof of work? No. And guess who is the most secure, the most scalable, the most efficient? Caspa. Bitcoin is all that, but Caspa's that and more, because it's the upgraded version of it, in other words, except there's a lot more. It doesn't have the finite amount of Bitcoin, so it won't gain that kind of value ever. But Vitalik, I love Ethereum. I invest in Ethereum, but you've got no shot at ever achieving that. You left proof of work, buddy. Sorry. Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs vetoes the Bitcoin strategic bill, which, another dumbass Dem. But we get a lot of that when it comes to Bitcoin. We get a lot of evil and stupidity from the Dems. She called it an unproven investment. So in the last 16 years, it has survived Obama, Trump, and Biden, wars, pandemics, FTX collapse, Three Arrows, so many, recession, like all kinds of stuff that has gone on in 16 years, and all it does is grow. How's it not proved? How is it not proven already? Right now, all the volatility has killed the market, and Bitcoin has stayed strong in the 90s. Katie Hobbs, you're a dumb ass woman. All right. Jeff Bezos files to sell $5 billion in Amazon stock. Will he buy Bitcoin with that? Okay. And finally, Warren Buffett is retiring this weekend. Here's the amazing part about all of this. Okay. He told all his stockholders and investors and partners and all that stuff that he was stepping down. He's 94. He said if he's under 40, he said something he has never said before, because he knows deep down inside, but it doesn't matter to him right now. And we've talked about this. He said, if I'm under 40, I would be investing in Bitcoin. Of course, he's 94. He doesn't need it right now because he's got his money. He's set. Which, if you're under 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, I would invest in Bitcoin, period. And he also said, if you may want to invest in other currencies that are not the dollar. That's Warren Buffett, because he sees what's going on with our dollar, which we've talked about here for 5 years on our show, going on 6. That's why we're big into this, because we see our dollar crumbling. But that's Warren Buffett telling you now. So, not me. I'm not a financial advisor. He is. So he finally came around to Bitcoin. Okay. Years later. And he's admitting, now that he's getting out, the dollar's going to shit. Warren Buffett wouldn't be saying that if he was still in it. But since he's getting out, well, it is what it is. Hell of a run for that man. Hell of a run. Frankie, thank you for the love in the super chat. Big O Messi wanted all his friends, and he has gotten them. Even the goalkeeper who took over calendar is Argentine. So it happens in a lot of sports. No, it only happens here. This whole little country club thing. That only happens here. And that's a clown show that Inter Miami has become. But, hey, bro, pressure's on you guys. Let's go. You got to win. Moss has done everything for them. Anything and everything they needed, he gave it to them. I don't blame the owners, although they've allowed this to fester. But I guess that's the only way you'll get them, by kissing their ass and doing all the crap that they want. And you're there for the money, of course, whether it's the toys, the drinks, whatever it is. You're whoring out every kind of product with Messi's face on it. So we'll see what happens. Another Frankie love there from the super chat. Question for Sean: Dakota Kai, AEW, or NJPW? What do you got?
We will discuss that tomorrow night. The Squared Circle Digest on the Stanley Media House Network YouTube channel. Myself and Frankie Fresco. Tune in.
There you go. There you go, Frankie. It's called the tease. You want to ruin the show content, bro? See that a radio guy gave the tease and said, "Tune in. We'll tell you." Not right now. Radio tease right there, or platform tease, since it's not really radio anymore. Of course, so Bush or live? Bush, and the other Bush too. Both, definitely. Live is cool, but Bush is way better than live for me. Okay, I like the band Live. Live and Filter are kind of the same. I like those bands; they're pretty cool. But Bush is superior to bands like Live and Filter. Yeah. Let's see. If you did Live and Filter, that would be more of a discussion, actually. For me, at least. For me, Bush is it's not a discussion at all. You got to give me Bush. Because, I love Bush. Don't you all love Bush? By the way, what is wrong with Abdul Carter? Is that kid, not right in the head? Something wrong with him? Elevator doesn't go to the top floor? Both oars don't hit the water? Few sandwiches short of a picnic? What are we talking about here? So this moron, who of course has got a lot of talent, he gets the Giants and he wants Lawrence Taylor's number. You disrespectful little shit. Who the hell are you to ask for Lawrence Taylor's number? And more importantly, bro, get educated. Clearly, you're a stupid human being. An incredibly stupid and disrespectful human being. Do you have a dad around? Do you have an older brother, an uncle, a grandfather? Did you bother to learn the sport? No, of course not. Because like most athletes, they don't know shit about their sport. I could run circles around 99% of athletes about their sport. They can only beat me on the X's and O's of their sport. I know more about their sport, their history, everything going on in it. Hell, I probably will know more about the collective bargaining agreement than most NFL football players. Yeah, they're dumb. Yeah. Take out the offensive lineman, then you got a lot of stupidity in the rest of an NFL team. Majority of your smart guys are on the offensive line. For the rest of them, I don't know. I would say a lot of them, very questionable. Abdul Carter. First you want Lawrence Taylor, and then you want Phil Simms. What's wrong with you, bro? Why are you stupid? Why are you uneducated? Why are you disrespectful? If you had any respect, you wouldn't even ever think of asking for those numbers. If you actually understood the sport itself, you would respect whatever numbers retired from any team. When you walk in, obviously that person must have contributed a lot to the history of the team. You, on the other hand, have contributed absolutely nothing. Right now, Abdul Carter is an absolute total loser for the Giants. He's brought in terrible press. He hasn't played one down, and you got to pay him. You're risking everything now. You gave him a bonus and all that whenever you signed the contract, and he hasn't done shit for you yet. Well, when he starts, then he starts to earn his money. Okay, great. But like Phil Simms and Lawrence Taylor, this is part of your greatness, people that brought championships. Phil Simms had a run through the playoffs and in the Super Bowl had a completion percentage that was, I think he missed one pass or something stupid. He was 25 of 26 or something. And he was a damn good football player. And he was a professional. And dude, respect.
You get to the Dolphins, you don't ask for Zonka or Marino's numbers, bro. Just because you don't know what Zonka or Marino did or who they are or whatever, I don't care. Go learn. Oh, that number is retired. Why? Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, you should know right away if it's retired. Okay, well then, yeah. I don't think they're going to give me Staubach's number. No, of course not, asshole. No, yeah, of course. You can have Lynn Swan's number. Huh? It's just these things that these kids nowadays, and I don't get it, because I don't think that other generations in the past 30 years ago and 40 years ago and 50 years ago, I don't think they grew up that way. I think they grew up knowing very well the history of their sport and who came and all that and who paid the dues. These kids nowadays, over the last 20 years, it started pretty much towards the end of my beat days. Like my last 7-8 years on the beat, I would run into players that didn't know a damn thing about the sport. They just played it and were looking to get paid. But did they truly love football? No, they didn't. They truly love money. And they're just playing for the money. They're not really they don't really love the game where they admire players and follow them and all that kind of bullshit. It's crazy, dude. I saw that Abdul Carter story and I was like how clueless can you be? Young man, wake up, dude. I guess you didn't really, study the sport. I guess you don't know anything about pro football, and you certainly don't know the history of the Giants. And to have the balls to ask for Lawrence Taylor's number. Not only is it a retired number, it is arguably the greatest defensive player of all time. Of all time. Whether you agree or disagree, what are we splitting hairs here? What is he, number 2 or number 3? Whatever, dude. Okay? And I don't argue with anybody that says LT is the greatest. Fine. I saw him play, bro. I know what relentless is. I know what scary is. And I don't think anybody in any generation would like to play against that guy. Ever. Ever. It's just one of those Aaron Donald situations. It's one of those Jim Brown situations. It's just a person that is so dominant that it's intimidating how dominant they are. To ask for LT's number, he's not just the greatest Giant. Dude, he's in the conversation for the greatest player of all time with Jerry Rice up there. Just you got to have some balls, dude. You got to have some balls to say, hey, can I get this Lawrence Taylor guy's number? That happened a long time ago. It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't count. I saw that and I was like, my God, can you be that unattached from what you are actually earning money for? Oh, man. Oh, I went to a Nike outlet store and guess what I saw? $50 Tua, Tyreek, and Waddle jerseys. Looks like people are no longer buying those jerseys. Well, I mean, they're not sexy at this point in time. There's only one sexy team in town, dude. It's the Panthers. Nobody else has a vibe that, oh my God, we got to be a part of this. That's it. Unless we go to, Fort Lauderdale and you want to be a part of the Argentine club, but you got to be, in Fort Lauderdale with Inter Miami, it's like me at 18 in London. Inter Miami with Messi is like me in London at 18 years old.
So I'm leaving the Hippodrome, which is a big disco, multiple floors in London. Anybody that's old enough went to it. I don't even know if it's still there or whatever, because I haven't been to London since I was 18. But anyway, so I'm at the Hippodrome, and then I leave, and I'm gonna go to another club. I'm walking the streets alone. So I go to another. I'm about to walk into another club, and the guy stops me, and he looks at me and he goes, "You Italian?" And I said, "No, sir." And he goes, "Only Italians." And I was like, "Wow, okay, all right, I respect that. I'm 18. I'm not stupid. I'm not gonna fight with this guy. Only Italians. I'm not Italian. I'm on my way. I'll go find another place to go, into a bar and go drink something." Yeah, I was doing that at 18. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But anyway, so that is Inter Miami. You Argentine? No, you're not allowed here. So if Messi checks you at the door, you're not Argentine, you're not allowed. Sorry. It's kind of like what it is. Oh, will you be at Rockville? No, sir. I will not be at Rockville, unfortunately. Okay. All right. Corso says, down in a hole, or would Alice in Chains? Probably Alice in Chains, I'm going to go with. Let's see. What else? So rewatching the glory days of the Miami Heat basketball 04. Yes, back when we got Shaq. That was beautiful. The new best spot in Miami is Palm Beach Club. Had Sebastian Ingrosso on the decks. Spacious place to move. 7:30 to 10 p.m. Set in bed. 10:30. Okay. By the way, I forgot who gave it to me because you guys commented on it on the show. And I told you I might go, and I went. I went to Marker 88 on Saturday. I took the wife and wanted to go enjoy the sunset and the stars, actually. So we stayed there. We got there right before the sunset. We watched the sunset, took some pictures, and you are correct. You get some amazing pictures of the sunset. Okay? Here we go. Like really, really cool pictures. Got the sun setting. It was pretty awesome. Let me see if I can put up the other one. Here we go. Here's the other one. Really nice. Really cool place. The food was excellent, by the way. Really enjoyed the steak I had. Had a shrimp cocktail. My wife had, oh God, I think she had the grilled grouper. I think she had, and the food was excellent. By the way, it was very good, very good. So I enjoyed myself, and it is right on mile marker 88. They have got a huge parking area. The place is big too, bro. And there are tables right on the beach. There's an elevated bar. They've got a pier where you can walk out and check it out. And it's a really nice place. I didn't even know anything about Marker 88 at all. And I've been in the Keys all my life. So, and it looks like that's been there for a while, but I forgot who gave me the suggestion. Whoever gave me the suggestion, thank you very much, because Marker 88, I would suggest to anybody. Okay, by Isla Morada. Really, really awesome place, man. Awesome place, and you get a perfect sunset there, and you get the get a good dinner too at the same time, so you can enjoy, ladies and gentlemen. What else? The song, what you're saying, the songs of Alice in Chains, Down in the Hole, or Wood. How about Man in a Box, or Rooster? Give me Rooster. How about that? Down in the Hole is a great song too. What else do we have? What else? Oh, you know what? I did not do any música. By the way, the Diddy trial starts today. I mean, it's like the world is rooting against him. Like there isn't enough jail time he can get for me, considering the scumbag that guy is. But wow, finally the trial starts now, and it tells you also how bad it's going to be for him, I think, because the feds, man, they took their sweet time for everything. And then at the same time, they allowed it to fester for so long that so much more evidence was able to be unearthed with people coming forward, and probably pictures and videos that we're going to see. So that's going to be one hell of a story. Okay. The Diddy one. And I saw that The Equalizer got canceled after 5 years. Let me ask you, do any of you watch The Equalizer? Because I watched an episode and I was like, really? This is the shit they're putting on television? Like, I'm surprised they got through a season. And, I like Queen Latifah. She's cool, but that's a terrible show. That's a terrible show. And then there's a Florida man that did something that is super brave and crazy. Okay? I'll get to the music, but, some entertainment stuff. Henry Betsy Jr. married 3 women in separate counties and kept them in the dark regarding his other marriages. 2 of the women found out about his first wife, Tanya Betsy, discovered his 2 other marriages, and informed the women. So I saw the full story, and apparently the computers for the counties, they don't really connect with each other. So if you get married in Dade and then you get married in Collier County, Dade and Collier don't actually cross over and check names. So you can marry a woman or a man in different counties and nobody ever finds out unless they find out on their own. But it's not like the law will catch you. It's not like you're filing for a marriage license and it's like, well, wait a minute, it already shows you're married over here in this in Tallahassee. No, it doesn't. The system is so antiquated that it just doesn't even connect, which is kind of crazy. And by the way, I've been married to my lovely wife for 31 years, happily married. Okay. I can't imagine, and I'm sure this guy was doing it because he's trying to scam these women, because that's usually what it is. I doubt you're supporting 3 different women. When you're doing that, it's because you're a scam artist and you're taking money from them, is probably what it is. And some of them have been, he's taken money from them. He's a bum, obviously. But in real life, like for the rest of us, normal life, I'm saying, how would you do something that crazy to marry 2 or 3 women? It's enough to be in one marriage, bro. One marriage, children with one marriage, like, what are you going to do? Start having kids with other and then you got to remember all the birthdays and all the anniversaries, and you got to be there. And like, what? I never understand the people that do that kind of stuff. And usually they do it like those traveling salesmen, like back in the day. The guy travels all over the country and he's got a wife on one coast and another wife on another coast, and he keeps his life going for a long time that way because he travels so much. Crazy shit. So yeah, the woman actually neither one could find out about the other unless they found out on their own, which is absolute insanity. All right, let's go with musicians born on this date, May 5th. Chris Brown, singer, songwriter, rapper, born in 1989. Adele, singer, born in 1988. Kevin Paul Mooney, bassist with Adam and the Ants, born in 1962. Steve Stevens, guitarist for Billy Idol, born in 1959. Ian McCullough, Echo and the Bunnymen. I saw Ian once. He had a band called Electrofixion. When Echo was broken up, he and Will Sargent, the guitarist for Echo, they went on their own and they created a band called Electrofixion. And let me tell you, that first album of theirs, Sister Pain, and there's a whole bunch of great songs on there. So he also did some solo stuff. I never got to see, I've seen Echo and the Bunnymen and Electrofixion toured. They didn't come here because, of course, South Florida sucks for that. They went to Central Florida. That's usually where I have to go to see some fringe bands at times because they don't come here. They'll come to Central Florida or Northern Florida. So they went to Central Florida, and Ian was drunk off his ass that night. He sounded great. He was singing great, everything. And I've told this story before. And so I'm there with my wife, and we're right in the front. Small club. We're right up against the stage. And there's a guy next to me. I got my wife to my right, and this guy that's next to me. And, dude, after every song that he would finish, he would scream, Mac, because his name is Ian McCullough. So Mac. So he would scream, Mac, and then a song he wanted to hear. I forgot what song it was. And it's after every song. And, a lot of people do that, and they don't realize that there's like a set list already there. And, unless you're like Fish or something like that you're like a jam band and maybe you'll do something on the whim like that. But normally the song list is there and that's it. So whatever you're screaming, you're not going to get unless it's on that list. Just in case you think they heard you. No, it was on the set list. So he leans down, he kneels down, and he looks at the guy. This is like the 8th or 9th song in. And he looks at the guy, and I'm telling you, he's drunk, because when he kneeled down, I had him like face to face. He was like right next to me. And I'm looking at him, and he's looking at the guy, and he's looking at the guy like this. And he tilts his head one way. Then he tilts his head the other way. The whole place is calm, quiet as a mouse. Quiet as a mouse. Because right when he finishes the song, people clap, and then there's a dead moment, and right there is where the guy would scream, Mac, play, whatever. So he does it again, and then Mac kneels down, and he looks at him this way. He looks at him that way. And he grabs the mic, and he goes, bam, right in the center of the forehead, bro. And the thump is heard in the whole place. Bah. And the whole place is either laughing or ooh, ah, whatever, all this and that. And he just stands up and they go right into the next song. So the next 7 songs, my boy never screamed again Mac or the song that he wanted to hear. So it was funny. So Ian McCullough, who I love, and gave me a very funny moment in concert history, is celebrating a birthday today, born in 1959. Roddy Radiation, lead guitarist with the Specials, little ska for you, born in 55. Let's see. Pete Erskine, percussionist with the Weather Report, born in 54. Rex Go, guitarist with Air Supply, born in 51. Bill Ward, the great Bill Ward, drummer for Black Sabbath. He's a monster. Born in 48, one of the greatest drummers of all time. Let's see who else. Tammy Wynette, country singer, born in 42, the legend. And, oh yeah, Johnny Taylor, singer, songwriter. Move it in, move it out, shove it in, shove it out, disco lady. Something like that, right? Anyway, Johnny Taylor, born in 37. Let's see. Let's go with other famous people celebrating birthdays today. Okay. All right. Don't know why this is happening. All right, Sean, do you have wrestlers while I work on this because this link is not working?
Yes, sir. Atlantis Jr. turns 27. Bear Boulders 35. Bill Watts turns 86. Brooke Hogan, she's 37. The Great Cheeseburger, he turns 38. And Hiroshi Hase, he turns 64.
All right.
The link ready?
Sir?
I send it back to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Don't know why this is I have disconnected on the internet here, but not live, which is weird. Just really weird. I don't know how my connection is still going live when everything is freezing up for me here. Weird, dude.
Are you hardwired on the...
Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is. All right, let's go with rock history today on May 5th. I connected the damn iPad to my phone so I could get internet. In 95 on this date, Guns N' Roses drummer Steven Adler was arrested on a felony count of possession of heroin plus 2 other misdemeanor drug charges. In 96, Rage Against the Machine had the #1 album in the country with Evil Empire. In 68, Buffalo Springfield disbanded. In 63, following a recommendation by George Harrison, Dick Rowe, the head of A&R and Decca Records, went to see the Rolling Stones play at a club in London. He signed them to his label days later. In 69, Creedence Clearwater Revival released their hit Bad Moon Rising. In 70, the Guess Who had the top song in the country with American Woman. All right. Don't forget, folks, you can make a donation to the show. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. As always, Ho Yoon, thank you, sir, for the love on Venmo. You're absolutely freaking amazing, dude. Always. Thank you for your loyalty and helping us in your own way get to Spain. Okay? So thank you. Means a lot, man. Thank you. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. And remember, you can make that Bitcoin or Ethereum donation, and you can help us get to Spain. Because the mayor in Madrid says it's the Bengals and the Dolphins. I don't know if he's right or not. Others say it's the Washington Commanders. I don't know who it's going to be, but it's going to be a pretty special game either way. And we want to be in Spain to cover that for you that whole week. Do it at a Dolphins bar and do our pre and post at the Dolphins bar there in Madrid. There is one. So help us there. Make a donation. There is the QR code. All right. Amanda Madero says, how many games will it take to dispatch the Leafs? 5 de mayo, 5 de juegos. Okay? That's it. It's 5 de mayo, it's 5 de juegos. All right? Omega Realty Group and the great Osmani Garcia can sell your home in 30 days, or he'll buy it. And right now, there's a lot of homes out there, folks. You need to move your home. If you're serious about selling, he has that guarantee to sell your home in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it. No excuses, no delays, no fine print games. Call him. If you're interested anywhere in Florida, by the way, so if you live in Central Florida, Northern Florida, South Florida, the Keys, you call Osmani and he will get it done for you, man. I'm telling you. And again, no excuses, no delays, no fine print games. I've known this man for over 15 years, okay? This is a really good dude, really honest dude. See if your house qualifies. Call him. He'll get it done for you. I promise you. 305-440-1990. That's 305-440-1990. The Omega Realty Group and Osmani Garcia. Tell him that Big O sent you. Big O, you know it's summer when it's pouring every day now in Miami. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are correct. Devin Bush arrested on misdemeanor assault charges and harassment with the girlfriend. They can't prove the physical contact, but, you know, he did break her phone. So he admitted to that. So the other stuff is he said, she said, so you don't know. By the way, he's now with the Bucks, right? No, the Browns, I'm sorry. And the interesting part about that is he's a former Steelers draft pick. Okay? Mike Tomlin, bro, he doesn't pick all the players. He may make some suggestions and stuff like that, but they have a front office guy. I think DaCosta is the guy that makes the personnel decisions. And it's amazing how many knuckleheads go through there. I mean, George Pickens is a knucklehead right now. Like they take chances on guys that have shady characters. And they're lucky here with Bush because now he's part of the Browns problem. But it's constant, dude. I'm amazed at how many bad character people go through the Steelers. And Tomlin somehow or another overcomes all that stuff. That's impressive, dude. That is mighty impressive. Okay. What else do we have here? All right, folks, we are out of here. We thank, of course, the great Sean Stanley, managing and driving this entire platform. We thank, of course, Ira Winderman. If you missed that interview, it's there for you. You can rewind. I'm sure Sean will put out a rant or not post the interview. I'm sure he'll post some rants from today too. But we appreciate all of you out there. Please don't forget to hit the hell out of the like button. It's very important that you hit the like button. We shall see you all tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.